What were your initial thoughts on being the main event for the first show in Manila?
I was excited. Throughout my career, I've been, the first guy for a bunch of different stuff, and this is another one to add to the list. I've been to Manila, and I love the Filipino people. Were awesome. They're super cordial, and they're big fans. And everybody speaks English over there. The food's good. It's kind of a tropical place, so I like it.
Stylistically, what do you make of the matchup with Frankie?
You know what? This is the first time I've been hanging out with Frankie, and I'm kind of sizing him up, and we're not too far off as far as size goes. He's maybe got a little bit of height on me, maybe a little bit of reach, a little bit of weight, but we're fairly close in size. I've been letting my body just heal up and taking as much food and work out hard, and the weight's been going up, so I'm excited to see how things are going to match up. You never know in a fight until you step in front of someone how fast they're going to be, how strong they're going to be, and so I'm looking forward to testing that out, and I feel like I'm going to have some advantages in a couple different areas.
Well, he already admitted that you do have an advantage in terms of submissions, but his wrestling is obviously on point, and he was very dominant against Cub.
Well, I mean, the truth is, I believe Frankie's a black belt. I consider myself a super high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner. I think we were both top 12 in the nation for Division I wrestling, and that's a tough position to be in. To get there, you have to have lost some and fought back, and that's kind of comes through in both of our fighting styles. So we're both very proficient in wrestling. We're both very proficient in the submission game. I've had more submissions as far as MMA goes, and I think he's a little bit better at the takedowns as far as MMA goes. As far as as a game plan, we both have some solid striking. He's more of a traditional boxing guy. I'm a little bit more unorthodox, so I don't really know what it's going to be like until we get in there, and that's why I'm excited for this fight.
How much do you weigh? Like usually you walk around like.
How much do I walk around? Because I work out so much, my weight can fluctuate from like 53 to 58 pretty regularly, especially when I'm watching it. And now it's more about 56 to 62 when I'm stuffed at the end of the night, and that's a testament to getting older and being a little bit more proactive with strength and conditioning. Now that I know I'm going to be fighting at 145s, and that was something I thought about for this fight because they had offered it to coach The Ultimate Fighter, which I liked because it was going to give me some time to put some weight back on. But at this point, this amount of time built up is perfect for me. My body is like loving the fact that I can be big and strong.
Do you plan like keep doing fights at this at 145 from now on, or is just one fight?
I'm not a from now on kind of guy. There's so many opportunities out there. I want the big fights. I'm 35 years old, and I've been in this sport for a very long time, and we're just at a point in the history of our sport where there are big name fights at the lighter weight. So I'd like to get as many of those as possible. I'm not going to be fighting forever, and I feel like I'm still in my prime, so I want to hammer out some big fights now.
Your name had been linked to some other people previously, prior to like getting the Edgar fight. How did you settle on Edgar? How did you decide this is the fight I want, if you chose it all?
I don't really choose fights necessarily. I mean, of course, I have an opinion, and a fight with Frankie Edgar is something that the fans, in my opinion, will go wild for, and that's the biggest thing for me. When I'm all said and done in this sport, I want to fight every legendary person in the sport, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be fighting. I have plenty of time to fight some of these big names. Maybe some big names will pop up, before I'm done, and to get to have some big super fights, at all sorts of different weights. But right now, Frankie's a guy who, in my opinion, is one of the best pound-for-pound guys in the history of the sport. What he's done as far as winning championships, about the guys that he's defeated, and the way he's done it, and I've been a guy that's been in the same boat. Fought at different weight classes, been a champion. This is just a fight that I'm excited for.
How much does TJ Dillashaw being the bantamweight champion have to do with you moving up to featherweight?
It's not the most enticing thing for me to take a title fight against TJ, and it was thrown out there a little bit, and for me, it helps, to push for a big fight like Frankie versus just focusing on getting the belt like right now at the weight class. I feel like I could be a contender at both weight classes. I have in the past, and my skill is still getting better, and I feel great. So, I'm ready to pop in there and snatch a belt at any time, any weight.
a fight against Aldo is something that you think that is going to be next if you pass through Frankie?
I'm not thinking that far. My leg still hurts from last time I fought Aldo, you know, and he and Chad had an amazing fight. Right now I want to fight Frankie. I want to see what the other fights you know, look like in different weight classes. There's a lot of things that can happen in the sport. I mean, you guys know especially how quick things can change, and you see it with Chael. Chael all of a sudden is fighting Anderson, then he's having a title fight against John Bones Jones, and he's, you know, beating, you know, top contenders like Shogun Rua. I mean, this sport is so fickle, and me being a guy that's very tested and you know, approved, mentally tough, physically tough, I'm ready for any opportunity, and I'll stay ready.
There was a little bit of fun at your expense during one of the NSAC hearings, and people were talking about, hey, when can a fight get turned into a no contest, and when can things get changed? There was the time when, you know, you gave Herb the thumbs up, but the fight was called a little. Does that still bother you? Is that something you would ever have petitioned for to try to get that changed?
You know, there was recently a petition to change the outcome of one of my fights, and then I was like, they were talking about the instant replay and all these different things, and yeah, I started thinking about that, like, you know, are we allowed to go back and be like, hey, look, I want to make a case for this and make a case for that? Do I know for a fact that I was okay and trying to show that I was okay? Yes. I don't like to dwell on things. That's not the kind of person I am. You know, whenever I start dwelling on things, it's always just a bad feeling for me. So I have to go get in the ocean or go, you know, get my jeans and jump in the ring against someone, or, you know, whatever. You know, just to remind myself that I'm here to have fun.
Well, also, I would think, you know, you have to respect Herb is looking out for you guys. So obviously he's going to err on the side of caution if he errs at all.
You know, Herb, a lot of people don't know the history of our sport, and Herb is the guy, the first guy I ever watched fight was Herb. He fought a kid that I played football with who's a lineman in my high school, and I was in college. And I came back from college to watch this guy who's going to take an MMA fight and a legal fight in 2002 on a casino, and it was Herb Dean beating up my high school buddy. He like punched him, elbowed him, slammed him, choked him all in like a minute and a half. And so he's ref some of my biggest fights, some of my smallest fights also, and I know he's a great ref. So I don't want to be an influential guy that is trying to cause somebody else's career, you know, any type of harm, because I know that he wasn't intentional, but he did screw up. But I forgive you, Herb.
You're right. If you could choose between a rematch between you and Barao or you and Dominick Cruz, which one would you choose?
I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. When you're talking about following your passion, which is I'm known for, would I be more passionate punching Dominick in the face or Barao in the face? I would definitely rather hit Dominick Cruz. Not that Barao isn't fun to hit, but you know, Cruz and I don't really like each other.
Now, having spent some time in Sacramento, you're like a big hero there. The current mayor is a former athlete. Do you have political aspirations yourself?
As of right now, I don't have big political aspirations. I don't even really know where I stand as far as you know, certain issues, as far as whether I'm a full-on Democrat or Republican. You know, I've got mixed views. I would like to do some good in this world. I don't know if that means going into politics, but you know, I definitely have an influence in Sacramento, and I think people trust me, so I wouldn't rule that out, but that's not like the goal right now, no.
And in Korea, a lot of people found out about you and your team when the Korean Zombie went to train with you. There are a bunch of other guys in the lighter weight classes in Korea. Would you be willing to have more Korean fighters come and train with you?
We'd love that, you know, and the Korean Zombie was an awesome guest, and he put, I remember, you know, he's like such a sweet guy. He was young when he first came with us too, and he just said, hey, please take care of me. You know, he put a lot of faith, not having any communication skills, not knowing the food or anything else, and I went out of the way to make him feel very comfortable. I taught him some English. There's actually a video of me teaching him some English out there, like some pickup lines, etc., which is really good. And yeah, I would love to have some more Korean fighters out there, and I'd like to see the world expansion of our sport, and if I can help out, it'd be great.
So today they were talking about Black Zealands against H.E.A.T. Do you think in the future it's going to be like a Novo Niao and Alpha Male? Do you think it's a good matchup for the Ultimate Fighter?
I mean, there's no better matchup than Novo Niao versus Team Alpha Male. The problem is the language barrier. You know, they need a little drama in there, and I don't think not being able to communicate is the best way to create drama. So I would love to see more coverage of our sport, reality shows, etc. I think there's a lot of interesting stories out there. If that's one of them, so be it.
You're doing big things with Torque, but obviously we know the Reebok deal is going to change what you can do with the UFC. How does that affect you, and are you going to try to branch out into some other sports and other kinds of sponsorships?
Yeah, we've already, as a brand, Zuffa has been awesome to us fighters. Everyone's always talking about more money. Sure, we'd love to have more money, but I feel like this is a sport that's been growing, and they've been doing their best to keep up with the growing pains of the sport. So for me as a business guy, I can't blame anyone else for their business decisions. We're just going to adapt and think outside the box. We have a lot of presence in the BMX world and skateboarding and other extreme sports, and just in general, it's a lifestyle brand. So I embrace the challenge, and we've had a lot of success so far, and we're going to keep having success and growing it. There's like the school outfit, you got to wear your those girls wear the little skirts, and guys have to wear their little blue pants, and then there's the stuff you wear when you have freedom and wear what you want. And so there's always that. That's what Torque is for me.
And remind me, are you an official Reebok fighter yet?
No.
Is that something you're courting, you'd like to have?
Not necessarily. I'll be wearing their stuff for just like we're all supposed to. So and I appreciate free stuff. I'm a fan of that always. So I think it's great that we have a strong brand behind us as far as a uniform, etc. Would I like to see a little bit more individuality being given to the fighters? Sure. Is it going to affect some fighters, like a guy like some of the iconic guys in other countries, being able to really represent different brands and have steady income as not just as a fighter, because it changes now. If you're not getting a salary, then you're only going to get paid when you fight, and that can be scary for some guys because this is a fickle sport. Injuries, personalities, decisions in life can change the trajectory of where you're going. So if you don't have steady income, that can be scary, and so that's the one thing I worry about without the in-ring sponsorship, is big brands creating stability and reliability and guaranteed cash so that people aren't struggling day to day.
Right, there was a story coming out of Brazil that said you had turned down a fight with Thomas Almeida, and you immediately shot that down online. That seemed to upset you. Can you guide us through what actually happened? Is there any truth to that whatsoever?
No, there's no truth to that. My management is talking about possible matchups that may have been in the mix. Looks like a very talented fighter. If anybody in this world thinks I'm scared of anything, especially another human being my own size, they're smoking crack. So that's just not me, and I think people know me well enough at this point in my career to know that that's not me. So great story for the Brazilian folks, but no, that's not what happened. I was offered a huge opportunity and an iconic fight, somebody that I've been inspired by and that I think I can beat, and that's what I took.
Now that you mentioned the growth of the sport, how does it feel to be one of the chosen ones to debut the UFC in the Philippines and Europe?
I'm excited. Like I said, I've been in a fortunate situation. A lot of it's been through hard work and surrounding myself with the right people to be the first of a lot of big opportunities. First pay-per-view here, first UFC title fight, first this, first that, poster boy, etc. A big brand. I've been very lucky. So. I'm happy to do my part. I love the Filipino folks who went over there and had a great time when I was over there, felt the love, and it's got a strong history. The Thrill of Manila was a huge fight, and we're the next big thing to hit over there, so I'm excited for that.
You poked a little fun, or I guess you said that John has given you grief about the California Kid still. Is that? I know you talked about changing that at one point maybe, but it never happened. What's the deal with the nicknames that staying?
No, nickname's staying. John's the easy target right now, so I'm not going to fire back at him at all. John and I are buddies. It's been my nickname, the Golden Boy. That's not going anywhere. So it is what it is. I feel I'm very young.
Rich Walsh finished up his camp for this fight at Alpha Male, and he was talking a little bit about the difference between Campman as the coach and he previously trained under Dwayne, saying that Campman was a little bit more basics. Can you sort of comment on the difference in training now that Campman's in, and how you feel about the new staff?
Yeah, it's been great. For us as a team, we've always had a lot of coaching, a lot of influence, and to have Campman in there, both Dwayne and Campman were brought in as mixed martial arts coaches, and I feel like Dwayne had a lot more focus on his style of kickboxing, and that was kind of, he had something to sell. He was branding himself and doing that kind of thing. Campman is a fundamental guy. He's a Danish kickboxing champion, but his wrestling comes from Randy Couture. His jiu-jitsu, I think he's a brown or black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's got some amazing jiu-jitsu from Drysdale. He's great at blending things together, and Dwayne was really good at blending some stuff together as well. But it's an interesting mix over there. We've got a lot of coaches. Dwayne still has an influence on some of the guys. I know TJ's going to be doing some training with Dwayne, but Campman has been a great addition, and we're still looking for more coaches. As we have more success, we can afford to bring in more talent, and we're always about adding to the knowledge of our team and helping each other out and looking for additional pieces to help out.
Can you just give us your thoughts on Pacquiao and Mayweather's fight?
I'm excited. I mean, that's a fight that everybody's been excited for a long time. Of course, you'd wish it would have happened some years back, but these are two of the most talented guys in the world. I'm excited for it. I think, probably Floyd's going to get this one just because, he stands the test of time, and Pacquiao is more of a lay it all on the line kind of guy, and that can be dangerous against Floyd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're done.